ASMR Nation. Okay, so today I have a little, but not that little, maybe 7-book library haul. And I will read you the title of the book, the author of the book, and then a little blurb about the book. And I'm not actually going to read probably any of these in real life, but I am going to skim them. The reason I'm not going to read any of them is simply because I just grabbed them to skim and to show you guys some books you might be interested in, but because I typically read ebooks on my Kindle. So it's not that I won't read these books ever, but if I do read them, I will probably get them onto my Kindle and then read them. But first, let's do some light-ish housekeeping. My stomach is about to growl. I'm getting pretty hungry. Okay, if you're new here, welcome to my nonsense. If you're old here, welcome back, OGs. If you're new here, please consider subscribe. If you're old here, come on guys, double check. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like if you like. Leave a comment. It can be anything related to the video, or it can just be a hello. It could be a few emojis. Anything, as long as it's nice. Hit that notification bell. Ding dong. And as always, I will put my little linky links in the description. Anything you want to donate to the channel, you can do it through any of those. No pressure whatsoever. It's not expected, but it is very much appreciated. Every little dollar adds up. Okay. Let us go to book numero uno. Saving Main Street. Small business in the time of COVID-19. By Gary Rivlin, Rivlin. Okay, let's see some of the author blurbs, like the support on the back. Gary Rivlin isn't just a terrific journalist. He is an unusually empathetic one who always gives readers a powerful sense of what his subjects are feeling and hoping and praying. It is this quality that makes Saving Main Street such a beautiful, memorable book. His stories of small business people are trying to survive in the pandemic will break your heart and fill you with joy. And that is from Joe Nocera, co-author of All the Devils Are Here. That sounds like a good book, doesn't it? A nuanced, first-rate look at the frustrations, complications, and tough decisions faced by America's small business owners during the COVID pandemic. Through careful and affectionate reporting, Rivlin shows how much determination and resilience it takes to survive in today's brutal marketplace, that behind every easy political pronouncement and policy prescription is a far trickier and messier human story. And that is from Jennifer Senior, staff writer at Atlantic. Okay, now on the inside we have Americans extol the virtues of small local shops, often family run, yet buy from big box retailers and chains that dominate the competition. Even before the pandemic, small business seemed endangered. So when veteran journalist Gary Rivlin began investigating the effects of 2020 lockdowns on small business, what he found was surprising and perhaps even uplifting. Saving Main Street is an unfiltered examination of 3 businesses in the first 2 years of COVID-19. It's an eye-opening tale of grit, perseverance, and entrepreneurial spirit. Rivlin closely follows a restaurant owner and his rambunctious staff, an immigrant running her own hair salon, and the owner of a non-life-sustaining gift shop, alongside a larger cast of vividly drawn characters. They face enormous personal and financial risks, a contentious presidential election, and contradictory government guidelines, all of which compound the everyday challenges of running an independent business and trying to attract and retain customers who expect low prices, convenience, and endless choice. As Rivlin reveals, there's something enduring about small business in the American psyche. Life will have changed in unprecedented ways on the other side of this pandemic. Yet hard times will also create opportunities offering hope and survival. So I'm really interested in reading this one. And yeah, actually, the year 2020 was really good for me. It was just like a steady decline after that. People just got broker and broker. So even though people had their pandemic money and they were getting a service from me because they were off of work and they had time to like heal, and so 2020 was great. But it changed people. And so even though that year was okay, I've felt it just was delayed for me. Okay. Chingona. Owning your inner badass for healing and justice. For all the chingonas of the world has tried and failed to conquer. Dr. Alma Zaragoza Petty's recollection of her upbringing and how she has journeyed to reclaim the term chingona is a sisterhood chat we all need to hear. The words in this book are healing balm and permission we all need to order and reclaim the selves that we were told we had to look or be a certain way in order to be seen, heard, or valued. Chingona is deeply honest and vulnerable, liberating. Zaragoza Petty invites all of us to a self-centering that discovers and honors the stories of our histories. Filled with lyrical storytelling and liberating truth. If you are looking for a book to challenge and empower you, this is the book to read. Grab a highlighter because you'll need it. I love highlighting books. That is one thing that I will go to like rarely, because every time I go to Barnes & Noble, I spend $100. But when I do, I like to get like nonfiction and just tab it. Okay. Creating the world you want to live in takes guts and grace and everything you've got. To heal the world though, you've got to find healing yourself. You've got to get in touch with your inner badass. And Chingona Mexican activist, scholar, and podcast host she's got a podcast, helps us to claim our inner Chingona, a Spanish term for badass woman. For all the brown women in the world has tried to conquer badassery can be an asset, especially when we face personal and collective trauma. Working for change while persevering her spirit, a Chingona repurposes her pain for the good of the world. She may even learn that she belongs to a long line of Chingonas who come before her. Unruly women who use their persevering energy to survive and thrive. No, I don't come from a long line of that. I'm maybe the first. My mom is not a Chingona. As a first generation Mexican American, Zaragoza Petty narrates in riveting terms her own childhood split between the rain-soaked beauty of her grandparents' home in Acapulco and a harsh new life as a member of an immigrant family in LA. She describes the Chingona spirit she began to claim within herself and leads us toward the courage required to speak up and speak out against an oppressive systems. And that is why my mom is not a Chingona. As we begin to own who we are as Chingonas, we go back to where our memories lead, insist on telling our own stories, and see our scars as proof of healing. Liberating ourselves from the bondage of the patriarchy, white supremacy, and colonization that exists in our own. There's a sticky over that, and I can't, like a tape thing. Begin to see our way towards more joy. This work won't be easy. Imagining just and healed world from the inside out will take dialing into our Chingona something. I can't read the bottom because of like this tape thing. So that's Freaking excellent. Excellent. Okay. Tuck, 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 tuck. Oh, the next one. I am a big fan. Fan club of tomatoes. Tomato love. True love. 44 mouth-watering recipes for salads, sauces, stews, and more. It's a little early in the season to get these badass. These are like the chingona of tomatoes. These are badass. But I will be attending the farmers markets and grabbing some badass tomatoes. I would like to make any recipe Joy Howard cooks up that goes doubly for these easy, flavor-packed dishes. There are so many creative, mouth-watering winners. So chicken meatballs, we just had barbecue meatballs last night, and they were delicious. There's nothing to them. Throw some beef meatballs in your crock pot on low with some your favorite barbecue sauce, jelly if you want to be like, get some pizzazz, and 2.5 hours. That's it. But anyways, spicy gazpacho, shakshuka. I like that word. Shakshuka. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I like it the way I'm saying it. Shakshuka with extra vegetables. Spicy, sweet, smoky barbecue sauce. Does barbecue sauce have tomato as an ingredient? I didn't know that. Or maybe just this one does because it's a tomato book. But you'll be cooking deliciously with tomatoes, whether fresh or canned, all year long. A must-have. I couldn't love this book more. These dishes are easy, simple, and incredibly versatile and inventive. Joy Howard's love of tomatoes shines through in this collection of easy, mouth-watering recipes you can enjoy year-round. Uh-oh, I hear my child. He has risen. I might have to pause this. No, he's fine. He's with his dad, but he might get loud. He was supposed to sleep in today. Disobedient. Trust the plan. Oh, sorry. So obviously the last few books, the authors were mentioned. So the Chingona was Alma Zaragoza Petty, and then the Tomato Love was Joy Howard, and this one is Will Summer, and this is Trust the Plan, The Rise of QAnon. Wow, because I just had a falling out with my stepdad, who is dying, so that's never fun. About this type of thing, because he keeps sending me videos, and I said I'm done, and he's not respecting that. Probably there's some place in his heart that thinks he's saving me from some QAnon conspiracy, but when I tell you that I don't want to be saved from something, you have to let me go. We'll see. We'll check in with him in a little while. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Don't worry, he was a terrible father. Okay. I'm always oversharing. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. Alright. The storm is coming. Oh my god, this sounds just like him. The storm is coming. Trust the plan. Okay, you've seen the letter Q on TV and in the news. It's been everywhere, from Trump rallies to the January 6th insurrection. QAnon is used to sound vaguely familiar, somewhat ominous, but not quite mainstream. Today there are politicians running their campaigns on QAnon's central beliefs in Democrats' cabal of pedos and illicit drug. What was Once a fringe conspiracy theory has now become a household name and its symbols recognizable around the world. How did this happen? Who was actually involved and what did they believe? There's actually a whole podcast on searching for like who is responsible for QAnon. I didn't listen to it, but I should have. Daily Beast reporter Will Sommer has been on the ground with Q's followers since day one, and in Trust the Plan, Sommer has written the definitive book on the movement, who started and who grew it, what they really believe is going on, and what they want to see the storm accomplish on the day of its reckoning. The great tragedy of this story is ultimately the legitimization of this ideology by mainstream politicians eager to gain access to a large growing cohort of voters. Though 2020 brought the end of Trump's presidency, his following with QAnon community has simply pivoted and grown stronger. Trust the Plan shows us in granular detail who we'll be up against for years to come in the United States and abroad. Understanding why and how something like QAnon happens is an indispensable exercise, and in recognizing how we got here, we can chart a path out. Now, I'm not saying don't have your conspiracies, but let's have something with some base, okay? Lots of conspiracies have come to truth, but it's really odd to me that like QAnon clan really isn't even informed on the conspiracies that have come to light. You bring up how the CIA pushed and their agenda with that, and they're like, what? Like, I thought you were into this. This is like 101. You can't tell me some outrageous when you haven't even researched or touched the real ones, the ones we're sure about. Oh no, that's because one affected one type of people, and the other one you think is happening to you. Okay, praise for Trust the Plan. To understand this unique and uniquely scary moment in American politics, you need to understand QAnon. And to understand QAnon, you need to read this book. Chris Cillizza of CNN's The Point with Chris Cillizza. Also, I just get so annoyed because if all of your information is coming from extreme, you can look up a chart and see where your news source, where all the mainstream news sources lay on, the left to right, and even accuracy of reporting. And if all of your reporting is coming from something that's off the charts, you sound dumb. Most of your correct information should be coming from somewhere along, whether you're left or right, somewhere along the accuracy of the middle. It's a simple concept, and also there is a news source that is headlines only. I think it's only available by email. I want to say it's called like 1440, or I don't know. Anyway, you can get your headlines and like a brief summary. That's not. It just gives you a basis to go do your own research. 1440. I don't know. It does go to my email. I just haven't opened it up in a while. But I just thought this was cute. Conflict resolution for teens. My teen will never read this. I just grabbed it because I love little hard books like this, like little informative. I remember getting books like this at the library when I was younger. So this one, conflict. Nobody likes it. And from the hallways of your school to the family dinner table, conflict can be hard to avoid. But conflict doesn't have to be all bad. If you handle conflict well, you might even come up with a win-win solution, and everyone will walk away happy. Conflict management involves understanding the roots of conflict, opening the lines of communication, and coming up with a solution that everyone can live with. This book explores conflict from all angles. You'll discover, bullet point 1, how little seeds of misunderstanding can turn into a great big conflict. Bullet 2, conflict resolution strategies, including compromise, negotiation, mediation, and collaboration. Bullet 3, how to be a good communicator and a great listener to resolve conflicts at school, home, and even online. Oh, so modern. And bullet 4, basic conflict outcomes, including the magical win-win. Magical win-win. I wish I would have had a book like this when I was a kid, because I really have avoided conflict for far too long. And it will get you, here's some things that will get you into a big pit of resentment. Avoiding conflict and having zero expectations. And it is pushed down your throats to do both, especially the zero expectations BS. No. Reasonable expectations. Run your expectations by a third party, a trusted third party. But you should absolutely have expectations of people, and you should read this book about conflict resolution. Alright. Sensory on the Spectrum. Sensory on the Spectrum. This is a graphic novel. It is. Okay. Colorful and eclectic comics anthology exploring a wide range of autistic experiences, from diagnosis journeys to finding community, from creators with autism. Sensory Life on the Spectrum is a comics anthology featuring comics from autistic creators about their experiences of living in a world that doesn't always understand or accept them. With comics exploring everything from pre-diagnosis to tips on how to explain autism to someone who isn't autistic, to suggestions for how to soothe yourself when you're feeling overstimulated. This book is a powerful representation of autistic stories for autistic readers that may also help allistic, neurotypical, and questioning folks better understand life on the spectrum. With unique, vibrant comic style, illustrations, and the emotional depth and vulnerability of a memoir, this book depicts these varied experiences with the kind of insight that only those who have lived them can have. So my whole family is largely diagnosed ADHD, but that was the only diagnosis they were handing out back then. So my oldest daughter has come to me and was like, I think I'm ADHD, not just ADHD. And I was like, very likely. However, it's not like I about killed my mom when she was like, just go find out. You don't just walk into your general doctor and be like, hey, I think we got a diagnosis wrong. Can you switch that up? Just give me a quick test. Just give me a quick test here. It's not even one referral. It's years waiting, years long waiting lists. And there's a lot of reasons not to do it. Custody battles. You could lose your kid if it gets brought up in court. The cost could be thousands of dollars. So there are online tests, and there's medication for the ADHD, but there's no medication for adding the autism diagnosis to your ADHD diagnosis. So the reason you might want to find out or take some online tests or start going for a diagnosis is for support or work support. But if you just do the online testing and it's a resounding yes from several online tests, you can at least start to understand yourself better, and, join a community, get some tips, get some life hacks, like loops earplugs are very helpful. Okay, one more, and my kid is getting louder up there by the minute. So I have catology, and I just did the dogology book last month, so I will try to do the catology book. Catology book. What your cat is really thinking. I will try to do the intro when I get, not the intro, but like the first little chapter in here, when I get another quiet moment, whenever that is. So catology. Whether you're servant to a marvelous Mog or slave to a posh pedigree, this delightfully humorous guide is an edifying explanation of your cat's funny and often baffling behavior. Why does a cat need to come in as soon as you let it out? Does it really love you? Why has it presented you with a dead mouse on your pillow? It's a gift. Why does it purr? Celebrating what makes cats so wonderful, this charmingly illustrated book reveals the truth about our fabulous feline friends. I'm not a cat person, but I'm a cat grandma, and I respect the cats, and I say hello to the cats, but I cannot do a litter box, and I cannot do the smell, and I cannot do the jumping on the counters. But I don't have to, because I'm not a cat owner. I'm a cat grandma, so I can just go say hi, throw a toy in once in a while. But I know a lot of you love your cats, and I love that you love your cats. So catology. I mean, some people don't like dogs, and I have too, and I don't even like my own dogs sometimes, but I love them very, very much. Except when they're putting me through hell. But they're not trying to, they're just being dogs. Okay. Alright, if you are still there, thank you for watching to the end. I hope that you have a good rest of your day, rest of your evening, and or a good night.